Welcome back here, everyone. Right now, we are taking a closer look at the near daily changes in immigration policy right now as the Trump administration ramps up deportations across the country.
So we have a guest with us here today, immigration attorney and University of San Diego professor Tammy Lynn here to answer your questions. Tammy, so glad you're with us. We know this is on a lot of people's minds right now.
Thank you for inviting me.
First, we do want to talk, obviously, about the key changes in immigration policy that people need to be aware of. This has seemed to be changing daily or hourly.
Right.
Where do we stand?
I think what we really need to realize, because we're so close to the border, are the changes about who might get kind of picked up by ICE in any type of raids or any type of operations that they're doing. So previously, if you 100 miles within the border, that was their jurisdiction, you could be expeditiously removed. That's all of San Diego County. But the way the executive orders change is basically anywhere in the U.S. at this point. And so a key point on that is it used to be if you were in the, couldn't prove you've been in the U.S. for more than 2 weeks, they could expeditiously have you be deported, get you out of the country. Now it's 2 years. So what I've been telling clients, and I've been doing, in terms of Know Your Rights training, is always carry some documents showing that you've been here for at least 2 years. Is that going to save you all the time? No, but at least it gives you the right to ask to see a judge. And that's very important because it doesn't matter what your legal status is. You have due process rights under the law, under the Constitution.
You met with our entire team over the past hour, which was great because you gave us a lot of perspective. And in that, you said it's really important to carry that documentation. Kids all the way up through adults, grandparents, if you're going to be leaving the house. What should they have on them? And if approached by an agent, what should they be saying?
It's really sad that I have to say this. I had to say this to my 82-year-old father. I carry around my passport card because clearly I am a person of color, and if someone asks me to prove I'm a U.S. citizen, I don't want to get swept up and detained and have to be held for how many hours until a family member or someone can bring paperwork showing I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't know how we got to this point, but we need to protect ourselves in that. If you have pending cases, have copies of your receipt letters showing that you have a pending case. If you have anything showing that you've been here for at least 2 years, a lot of driver's licenses, they'll show the issuance date whenever that was. So I'm not expecting people to walk around with binders of documents, but whatever they feel is necessary for them to feel protected and safe if they were to come into any interactions.
To show that they've been here for 2 years at least?
Yes.
Okay. And these are things normally people might have in their safe or in a folder, but important to just keep it on you at this point.
At this point, or copies of it. I always get very nervous about people having original documents, losing it. But for my father, his passport card expired. I said, just carry it with you in your wallet, just in case.
Okay. What should people know about their rights if an ICE agent approaches them at home? I know we've talked about that here and there, about what the agents need to prove to enter a home, but also at your place of work or at a school, if you can break down all these spots that we all frequent.
Sure, and there's a couple of things to note. So in California, we have SB 54, the Values Act. For any type of private property, if they're looking for someone, make sure it's a judicial warrant. It's not an ICE warrant. So a judicial warrant means that it's signed by a judge. They had to have proof of why they need to go into someone's private property, could be a business even, to find a certain person. If it is an ICE warrant, it's just something that an ICE officer signs on their own or has a supervisor sign on their own. There is no, burden of proof necessarily of why they're coming or wanting to come into your private property. So,
and does it say clearly on there judicial warrant? I mean, what do they look for?
It doesn't. It does say that it was signed by someone from the U.S. circuit courts, things like that. But but if it just says Department of Homeland Security on there, likely it was not signed by a judicial officer.
Right.
Can you touch on birthright citizenship? There's been a lot of discussion on this lately. Clear up some of the confusion and where that stands right now, because there's a lawsuit that's involved in this.
Yeah, and I am getting this question from folks that are U.S. citizens that are born here, from folks that are pregnant and might have kids being born here. It's in the Constitution. It's the 14th Amendment. An executive order does not excuse the pun, does not trump it. It actually, the executive orders are just basic policies and guidance for the executive branch from the president to tell the agencies what to do. But just saying blatantly that birthright citizenship is gone, it is not gone. It cannot be gone, canceled in that way. It is in lawsuits right now. And if you look at the judges who have basically slammed this executive order as on its face unconstitutional, it's a waste of time, really, but it's doing what it's doing. It's instilling fear amongst people. So.
I'm curious on your end of things, what you're seeing, the calls you're getting. What are people worried about? What are they saying? We know here in San Diego, we have such a full immigrant community, people from so many different countries here. What are you hearing from many people?
I'm hearing everything. You know, a good portion of the residents in San Diego County are mixed status families. There are people that are U.S. citizens worried about family members. There are people that have pending cases that are worried about getting swept up. We hear anecdotes of people where maybe they're married to a U.S. citizen, the processing times are taking a long time, and they might get swept up in a raid or just not have documentation. And they're worried that they're going to just be expeditiously removed because of the executive orders. Again, the 2 years, having some documentation showing you've been here, asking for your right to see a judge. Everyone within the U.S. has due process rights. It's in the Constitution again. You can't get rid of it just by an executive order.
It was just a year ago when we covered so many people seeking asylum here.
Right.
I mean, hundreds and thousands of people coming here. Where do they stand? They haven't been here 2 years.
Yeah, so they hopefully, if they're already in the U.S., have already they have immigration court cases, they have filed something. I think that the problem of immigration the resolution from this government right now is using a sledgehammer and not a surgical knife. They're not looking at the root problems and basically just saying we're going to keep everyone out and kick everyone out. And it's a bad use of resources when it comes to that.
The new administration had said there would be a priority, violent offenders first, and then it would work its way down. Are you seeing that?
I am not. And anecdotal stories from my colleagues and from other organizations are of people who just happen to be someplace where there's an operation going on. They're being asked, you know, show me your papers, show me your status, and they're being swept up into it. And a lot of them, again, maybe have pending cases, have family members that make them eligible to get their status fixed, and they are not what the priority is. Yeah. And the sad thing is that we're unable to get numbers to really see, of the people that have already been picked up, how many of them actually have criminal records besides just being here. And just being here without status doesn't make you necessarily a criminal. It's a civil thing. It's not a criminal issue in that regard. And again, a lot of the folks, they have TPS, they have DACA, they have other things that allow them to stay here, or they're waiting for something to be finished.
Tammy, really appreciate it. You did mention in our meeting that we had, make sure you're getting your news from credible sources right now.
Exactly. I know people get a lot of news from social media, from TikTok. For my clients, I tell them, you see something weird, you hear something weird, contact me.
Thank you, Tammy.